Okay, editing Kayla's going to have a lot to do because at the end here, I completely forgot to say this before we started. I'm giving a trigger warning. Trigger warning, we're mentioning unaliving, we're mentioning corn, we're mentioning just brutal stuff. And, like, there's really no other way to sum it up but brutal stuff. Like, there's unaliving, there's like a brief mention of unaliving, there's just bullying in general, there's cyberbullying, there's corn mentioning, there's edited videos, edited phone calls. All of those things could be triggering, so I'm going to edit this into the beginning to let you know what you're coming into. If she has triggers for her story, she could say them before she starts her story. But those are the triggers for mine. I'm going to edit that at the front, so if you see this at the front, hi, this was actually at the end, but I put myself at the beginning, and then you'll hear the story after this clip.
Hi guys!
You have seen us, but we haven't seen each other
it's been a hot
in
minute.
a long time. I did the job. I'm doing the job. I did the job. I hate the job. Anyway.
It's a story for another day.
It might not even be a story ever. But,
yeah.
How you guys doing?
Hi.
How you guys been?
Hope you guys are well.
This is the channel, Simplicity, TEA. We talk about things on the internet nobody else wants to talk about. That is especially in regards to today. We're talking about two stories that, about something that's a little all too common nowadays. It shouldn't be, but it is. So, yeah, I guess we'll just jump right into it. Grab your teacups, your mugs, your bowls, and dive into the scary tea with us.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Also, if you guys are curious, today, I know I usually tell you guys what I'm drinking. Today I have a Fresca. It's sparkling soda water. It's grapefruit flavored. They're super yummy. Highly recommend. No calories, no caffeine or anything. So just FYI, just in case you want to know.
I have tap water.
Yeah.
Like I always do. Anyway, so I guess I'll go first. Mine's kind of simple. Not really, but you know what I mean. You'll see what I mean.
It's anyway. Faster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so
yeah. You'll get there.
This is all, when I reference a YouTube channel, by the way, I'm not talking about this one. I'm talking about the one that's linked in our bio. That's the one that I'm talking about. So if you want to go over and support that one, you can. You don't have to. I started my YouTube channel about 5 years ago or so at this point, from where this story takes place. You know, if you guys have seen that channel, you know what I'm talking about. A woman had emailed me looking for advice and to bring awareness to something. My channel is called Kayla's Advice, so back in the day I used to give advice. So that's why she had emailed me. She told me her story, which was upsetting and very tragic, to say the least. Of course, it's not my story, so I'm not going to say it here, but it was very tragic and upsetting. She asked if I could bring awareness to the organization that terrorized her relationship. Yes, terrorized is the right word.
Yeah, it's bad.
So she asked, can you bring awareness to this? And I said, of course. I said I would, and I made a video giving my opinion. It didn't take long for my life to be turned upside down. Upside down, all around. It's still happening to this day. There's no end point. I just want to give you guys that right now.
Yeah, I'm lucky.
There's no end point.
Yeah, mine has an end point, at least we think.
The group is called MGTOW. That's all you're getting. That's all you're getting. They're like, we're not saying the name of it. We're not saying what it stands for. We're saying the acronym. A member of the group going by the name Jeff pretended to be a guy needing advice. Which, of course, you know that's what my channel is about. So I'm not going to turn people away. So what did I do? Foolishly, I gave advice. He would email me constantly telling me to make videos responding to the emails. And if I wouldn't make response videos on his timeline, he would keep emailing me saying, hey, did you make the video? Did you make the video? Did you make the video? Like, it was constant. I was annoyed. In the emails, he told me heinous things they would say about me. These things I can't even repeat on the internet, you guys. Like, this is actual stuff that, like, it will be triggering to a lot of you. Like, it was bad stuff. Sometimes they edited me, sometimes they edited my head on a pig's body. That was a lot.
Yeah, that was a highlight.
But I didn't really care about that because
honestly, that won't be
I call myself a pig. I identify with the pigs. So I didn't really care about that.
We were here for
But
that one. We were really
They
giggling.
edited me into a corn thumbnail.
Yeah, that was...
That was the one, not a deep fake. Not a deep fake. It didn't look like me. It was just a picture of me edited into a thumbnail. So it wasn't like a deep fake situation. It was just, I was edited into, you guys know what I mean. They would make fun of the fact that my mom had unalived too. Like, just the fact that she did unalive. Again, she didn't unalive herself. She just
not intentionally.
Yeah.
To clarify.
I found out the reason they had me make videos is because the guy Jeff made a YouTube channel impersonating me. So, yeah, that's he took video clips from my videos, my TikTok, and various other places. So he just went on my social media and just took all these different videos and spliced them together to make it sound like I was saying things I wasn't saying or things like that. An anonymous email told me he was not who he says he was. I'm so thankful for the person who sent that email. Again, it's anonymous. Like, I don't know who that person is.
Yeah, shouts out to you.
The last updated thing he did is make a new channel and post a video saying I was brutally unalived. And this guy has been calling me his girlfriend for the longest time. I have a completely different boyfriend that knows about this entire situation.
Ooh, excuse me, sorry.
The guy also made a page that I've printed out that says I'm buried in a graveyard in my hometown. I don't know how he knows where I live, but yeah, we're going to cover up all the personal information, and I'm just going to show you. It says find a grave at the top, and that's a picture of me from one of my videos. And it says, a young and bright, exuberant girl, Kayla worked as a women's rights activist by helping women all over the world with her boyfriend, Jeff. Jeff is not my boyfriend, but he seems to think in his delusional world that he is.
Keyword delusional.
Yeah. And then, again, I just showed you guys the picture. But there's one last update before I finish my story. He has now made fake phone calls between the two of us using an AI version of my voice. So it's my voice talking, but you can clearly tell it's AI doing it. So if you listen to a video of mine and I'm saying, hey guys, how you doing today? The AI takes that, hey guys, how you doing today? And he puts it into these spliced up phone calls. It's very hard to explain. You know what, if you guys want to find these videos, they're not hard to find at all. There's a way to find them. I'm not going to link it down below or anything. I don't want this person to get any traction. But
or more clips of our voices, to be honest.
There is they're out there. So my voice is being manipulated and used. Even though he says I'm unalived, he's posting phone calls. But see, the timelines don't add up in his story. So I don't know what he's doing, but I need to talk about this. I need to bring awareness to this because this has been going on for long enough, and frankly, I'm tired of it. And frankly, I also don't care. Like, if anybody says anything, I don't care at this point. It's been like 6 or 7 years that they've been doing this. I don't care anymore. Like, it's just kind of become normal. Like, you know, it's a thing where it's like I live my everyday life as if it's not happening. And most days I can forget it's happening. Because ever since they said that I was brutally unalived, it's like, it makes it easier to kind of go through every day because it's less people leaving comments on my other videos. It's like less people harassing me, I guess. So it kind of makes it easier. But yeah, so I'm all done my story. That was mine. It's kind of brutal, and she's going to get into hers.
Yeah. Hi. My turn. Also, if you're wondering what I was doing while Kayla was talking about hers, my mom cleaned out her office today, so I got a bunch of office supplies for free, so I was putting them away. That, and I also realized I totally forgot to write down a timeline of what happened, so I was thinking about it, and I wrote it, and that's all. You're only going to see it for half a second, and that's all you get, because there are real names on here, and I'm not using any real names. I'm not saying any, like, demographic information or anything about that, but, This happened almost a year ago, and I'm still facing the repercussions of it. But it's not of my actions, let me be clear. So, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain how this happened. So, all of this stemmed from... I'm trying to think of how to explain it. All of this stemmed from me catching feelings for a person. Let's just start there. That's where this whole entire thing stems from, and it's just because of that. So, at least to my knowledge, that's what this is. So, in February of last year, I meet this guy, and we're gonna call him Jackson, just because I'm not giving him his real name, like I said. And I met him through someone who is relatively known in our area. There's more information to that, but we will call him Will. So, Will is very well known in the area. He has, I guess you could say he's like a nepotism child, and I'm going to leave that there. But he's well known in the community and all of that stuff. So, I meet Jackson through Will in February of last year. This is online. So I start tuning into some things that they're doing and watching their social media presence and stuff like that. And soon enough, in March, or in like late February, early March, me and Jackson become friends. We are the same age. We find out that we have some of the same friends. We have in common. We know some of the same people because, like I said, we're the same age. I'm actually like a year older, but close enough of a difference. I'm about a year older. We know a lot of the same people. One of my best friends in college actually is good friends with an ex of his. So they grew up together and all this kind of stuff. So we become friends. And for the first couple months, everything's fine. Like, we're just, just friends. Me and Jackson and Will talk a lot. And there's some other people in there, but they're irrelevant to this story at this point. But we just become friends, and we start messing with each other online and just being a little bit flirtatious, I guess you could say, online. I'm not going to say where, because that would give some of this away, and I'm not going to say that, because, like I said, this is going to stay completely anonymous of who everybody is. So, by the time May starts, the thing that brought us all together is well underway at this point. So, let's just say, we're just going to say it's a TV show. It's a TV show, and it's happening, and it's on, and it's very well talked about. And, so me and Jackson are still talking about the show, interacting a lot, and all of this stuff. So then, in late May, early June, I become friends with a group of girls that I found online through Will, through Jackson, kind of, like, adjacently. They don't know each other. They're not friends, but they like, met each other online. Same kind of deal as when me and Jackson became friends. They become known to each other at the same time. Through me, after I become friends with this group. So, and we'll call them Allie, Lacey, Molly, and Lila. So we all become friends, and there's some other people in there that I'm still friends with, but I'm keeping them fully anonymous. But we all become friends, and in early June, Allie decides she wants to host a get-together with everyone in celebration of this TV show. And everybody's like getting all excited, and we're planning things, and somebody's gonna sleep over, and like at this point, me, Allie, Lacey, and Molly, me, Allie, Lacey, Molly, and Lila are all talking all the time with our other friends that I'm still mutuals. We had a group chat that we talked in all the time about the show, and we decided, let's celebrate the show. Let's get together, get a group of girls together, and we'll watch it, get ready together, have a sleepover, all of this stuff, throw an event. So this event comes around and everybody's all dressed up and is celebrating the show, and it's really, really successful in terms of that point in time. In reality, was it all that successful? No, not at all. I would have done things completely differently if I was the one in charge of planning it. I would have done it very different. But at that point, while it was happening, it was successful enough that word got around at least a little bit to other people to come to this event for this TV show. So we get together, it goes great. And Jackson is there. So this is not the first time that I'm meeting Jackson in person. I have seen Jackson in person and we've been hanging out, talking. We were actually together, just us two, a couple weeks prior to all of this happening, because that was when the original event was supposed to happen, but some things fell through and whatever, so we had to change when it was happening. But me and Jackson were already there, so we were like, okay, you know what? May as well hang out, have a drink with a couple people that were there. I didn't drink because I'm 99% sober. I drink very, very, very little. Like maybe twice a year, if that. So I was not drinking at this event, but Jackson was. Which is fine. I don't care. People do that. It doesn't bother me. It's just for me personally, because of some trauma that I've had. I don't know how much of it I've gotten onto in this podcast, but maybe we'll get there when we get to my episode that we're talking about addiction. I will get into my story a little bit more. So that's the reason why. We'll leave that there. So we were hanging out, and kind of slowly but surely some people were leaving, and they were like, oh, okay, we'll see you in a couple weeks, like da-da-da-da. So it ends up being just me and Jackson. We run into Will, say hi to Will for a little bit, hang out with Will, and then he has to leave because he lives kind of far away from where the event takes place. So he leaves, and we were saying bye, whatever. Then it just ends up being just me, Jackson, and then another person that's there. That's irrelevant to this story, but just is known, one of Jackson's friends. So he stays for a little while, then he leaves, and then it ends up just being me and Jackson. So we're hanging out at the, ow, sorry, I just got my cartilage pierced and I just hit it. So it's me and Jackson, we just hang out, and we're having a drink, talking, getting along, da-da-da. And to me, I'm feeling like, ooh, this is going really well. I don't know what to do with this, because I'm the type of person that doesn't have a whole lot of experience in this kind of thing. If we're being completely honest. Maybe I'll get into that on another podcast. But, so I'm texting Kayla and I'm texting Kelly and my best friend, other best friend besides these guys that you guys don't know. And you probably will never know, so don't hold your breath. So I'm texting them, we're like, oh my god, guys, like, this is going really well, da-da-da-da. So we're hanging out, everything's fine, and it's just going really well. We're having a great time. We're laughing, joking, talking about the show and what he's accomplishing with all of the stuff that's surrounding everything is going on. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, that's so cool. We're comparing, like, who we know, all of these other people that we know. Just kind of really getting to know each other better in a person-to-person, face-to-face environment. Because up until that point, we have seen each other and we've been friends for months. But also, we haven't had the time to actually sit the two of us one-on-one and really hang out and make sure, like, yeah, this is something that's cool. So, after this happens, I catch feelings for this guy. I kind of thought I had him for a while, and I was like, okay, this is definitely, like, something is going on here. And I'm thinking it's mutual. To be honest, almost everybody thought at this point it was mutual. So I'm going to get into where the girls come into this whole situation in a second. But I don't remember exactly how you... Do you remember how you felt about it when I was first telling you? Because I don't remember what you said originally.
Well, I remember that I was angry about it, and I what's the word? I not quote tweeted, but I, like, subtly tweeted something.
Oh, yeah.
About it,
okay.
because I was angry because just the multiple cyberbullying that's happened to me just kind of like... Yeah.
So I remember at this point, and this is right before all of this happens, before Kayla starts jumping in on my defense and everything. Yeah. Right before that, I remember I was texting them saying, oh my gosh, me and Jackson are really hitting it off. This is really great. This is so much fun. We're having a great time. And everybody's excited. They're like, oh, that's great. Like, da-da-da-da. Just make sure you're careful because, you know, you never know. Da-da-da-da. So it's like, yeah, everything's fine. Everything's great. I'm having a good time. We're cool. So we leave. And I'm leaving, and we walk two separate directions. This literally has been stuck in my mind since the second it happened, okay? When I'm telling you, like, you leave hanging out with a guy, and if you are a person that's in a relationship, you're gonna know this exact feeling that I'm talking about. You leave hanging out with them, and you just know. You just have that feeling, and it's just like, I can't explain it, but you just know. Mm-hmm. So it was so cinematic the way this played out. So we're leaving, we're walking in two separate directions, because we're like, okay, well, whatever, we'll see you in a couple weeks, each other in a couple weeks, da-da-da. So I'm leaving, I go one way, he goes another way. I swear to God, like a movie, we both turn around at the same time and look at each other as we're walking away. And I'm like, okay, oh my God. So immediately, to give you any semblance of how I'm feeling in this moment, my heart is beating out of my chest. I, like, have never been that excited about anything. I was like, oh my God, what's going on? What's happening? This is insane. This is crazy. What the fuck? So immediately, I get in the car and I start playing Enchanted by Taylor Swift, okay? That's the level of where this is. So some time goes by, like, we're just, and I decide I'm gonna tell Allie, Lacey, Molly, and Lila about this because they are all also mutual friends with this person. And at the time, they were all rooting for me and rooting for this relationship that's happened, or maybe supposedly happening, okay? So I'm like, oh, this is great, whatever. Then, all of the sudden, this event happens a couple weeks later. And, I mean, they decide they're going to start playing games on my behalf. So this event happens and it goes well and it's very fun and all the girls are there and Jackson's there, Will was there for a little while, and a whole bunch of other people that aren't involved in this situation. So everybody's there, we're having a great time, we have a great night. So we get back from after the event, we have a little after party, just a small group of us. We hang out probably till, I don't know, all hours of the night, let's just say. So we're hanging out and it's just we're just having a great time. There's music playing, we're singing and dancing and just having a really great time. Just being young and having fun. So, sorry, hold on. So the whole time that this event is happening, me and Jackson are attached at the hip. Like, we are going pretty much everywhere together just by happenstance. Like, I end up watching the show with him and we're right next to each other, even in all the pictures. We took pictures together. Like, it was just the highlight, right? And everybody's kind of watching us and all this kind of stuff. So then out of nowhere, a couple weeks later, my friend Lacey, who doesn't know Jackson well, or at least as well as I do, decides to text me and say that she talked to Jackson and Jackson doesn't feel the same way about me that I feel about him. Which, in all respects, is completely fine. If this thing isn't mutual, whatever, if whatever's going on isn't a mutual feeling and it's just a me thing, that's fine. That's not what this is about. That, I totally understand that. Which, whatever, you move on, it's fine. You might hurt for a little bit, you might be upset. Actually, you probably will be upset. I was upset. I was just sad about that fact. But that's not the part where this story really gets crazy. So I get upset about it, and I'm confiding in my girlfriends. I tell them, them being Kayla and Kelly and my other best friend, and I'm talking to Allie and Lacey and Molly and Lila about it, and they're just like, you know, feeling for me, and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, like, you know, I can't believe you read that situation wrong, and da-da-da-da-da, and I'm like, yeah, it really sucks, but, like, you know, it is what it is. So I'm kind of starting to move on a little bit, and I'm sad, but, you know, like I said, it's just life, that's what happens, right? So, out of nowhere, I don't know what started this narrative, but Allie texted me and said that she was tired of me talking about it. I don't know why, because I really wasn't trying to like beat around the bush or anything. I just was upset. And that's what happens. You know, like if you have a relationship thing and it's not going well or it is going really well, you talk about it with your best friends. That's a girl thing. I don't know how guys work. I'm not sure if it's the same exact dynamic. It depends from guy to guy from what I understand.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh God, like I'm sorry, like I'll stop talking about it. And I'll move on, whatever, it's fine. So then out of nowhere, we just kind of start fighting, and I don't know why, because she's saying she being Allie, is saying that I talk too much about it, and they're tired of hearing about it, like you're starting to creep them out, and all of this stuff that I don't understand where it's coming from, and I never did. To this day, I don't know what that is, but eventually I hear back from Lacey again, and she says, you know, how he feels and that she talked to him and da-da-da-da-da. But my point of the whole thing of what upset me about it at the very beginning, at the right before the climax of this situation, I was frustrated because I was like, we are both in our mid-20s. If there was a conversation that needed to be had between the two of us, he should have been a man and come to me and talk to me about it. So, at this point, I'm just all confused. I'm upset, I'm angry, I don't know who I can trust anymore, obviously in this situation. So besides Kayla, besides Kelly, everybody. But I was kind of talking about it more with people that also know him because I was like, okay, what am I misreading? Because to this day, they still, Kayla and Kelly still don't know Jackson. Haley also doesn't know Jackson. A lot of my other friends don't know him because this friend group just doesn't coincide.
Do you want me to edit Haley's name out that you just said?
Oh, no, you don't have to.
Oh, okay.
No, that's fine. Yeah, you guys, I've mentioned her before, so it's fine. She won't care.
Okay.
So, she being Lacey is telling me all this stuff, and then out of nowhere, hold on, I gotta find what exactly it was that happened. That was the catalyst for all of this, because I kind of don't remember. Give me 1 second.
Also, in this type of situation, there's a lot that can be avoided. Like, it just always makes me think, just don't put things online. Like, just leave it offline. If you have a problem with somebody, don't jump to social media. Just talk to them about it. Like, I really don't understand how it's that hard to do that. I just had to throw that in there. Like, I just don't understand. I'm just a very big person of, if I have a problem with somebody, I text them privately about it or I talk to them in person about it. Like, I rarely use social media to begin with, but like, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Sorry guys, I almost have it.
The only social media I use is YouTube. That's basically it.
I don't exactly remember what started this whole process or what kicked it off, to be completely honest with you. I can't find it. And I don't remember what it was. I really don't. Which just shows how confusing this whole thing was. But slowly but surely, I forget how I found out about all of this stuff, but I find out that Lacey is feeding Jackson, actually, I'm going to say Lacey and Allie are feeding Jackson information about me and saying things about me and what I've said and my character and all this kind of stuff. Pretty much any lie that you can say to make someone sound bad, they are telling Jackson at this point. And so I kind of just, and hindsight, this is a really terrible idea, so don't ever do this. But I had just posted on this group that I was upset with how things were going down and I didn't understand what was happening and blah, blah, blah. So that full on turns into an all-out war on this app about me. So it turns out from me catching feelings for someone turned into I'm a bully, I'm a stalker, I am a terrible person, I creep people out, I am just a plain creep, I'm a predator. All of this other stuff that is within that category is being said about me online at this point. So I'm freaking out because I don't know where any of this is coming from, and I don't know if Jackson is listening to it, or if he's believing what is being said, or if he's believing anything that's going on. So I know from the very beginning of when this starts happening that we need to have a conversation. So I was panicking and freaking out, and I didn't know what to do, so I called him. And he didn't answer because I think at that point, he was doing something with his job and whatever. So I didn't really think too much of it, but I also was really scared that he was just gonna up and leave and abandon me and not want to be friends anymore and just whatever. So I distanced myself, and I am fighting with these girls. And let me just read you something that was said about me, because it really goes to show just how insane this is. So I'm going to read... also, I would like to add that all of this kicked off and started on my birthday. So they ruined my 25th. And to reference, this is a message that I sent Lacey, maybe 2 days before this happened. I texted Lacey because I wanted her to come over for my birthday. And I said, "Hi, I'm having a couple friends over on Friday night to have dinner and watch the game for my birthday. I'd love for you to come if you can," with a little hand heart. 3 days later, she texts me in the midst of all of this and says, "I'm sorry, do you have something you'd like to say to me? Or are we just going to name drop in private? Because I've been nothing but nice towards you, so if you'd like that to change, let me know real quick." I didn't answer, because at this point, I was also telling mutual friends of ours what was happening, because I wanted them to be careful so that this was not done to them. So I guess one of them leaked what I said, and whatever, I don't care. They can say what they want. It's fine, like, they can send what I said to them. At this point, I didn't really care. I was just angry, and I was trying to look out for people. Then, however long later, she said, "Nothing to say. That's interesting since you had plenty to say to other people." Okay. So I said, "Girl, no. I told a couple friends what's going on because they saw I was visibly upset for days." As in, this whole thing started, like I said, because I liked someone. And I think Lacey also had feelings for Jackson, and she got jealous that I was friends with him and we were close. I think that's where this whole thing's come from. But anyway, so I continue, and I said, "Some weird-ass divide happened over some situation that doesn't involve anybody else in the group. That's just weird." She said, "Let's be honest here. You called me a dumb bitch, and that's over-involved in your love life, and said I'm clout-chasing. Shall I go on?" And I said, "That's where my head's at, dude. How else am I supposed to read that situation if you're me? It's just odd." So, and she goes, "And let's be extra honest. I was nice as fuck to involve myself on his behalf and tell you it wasn't going to work. He didn't have the heart to tell you how he truly felt, so I did to stop this. You're fucking welcome. And there was no weird-ass divide, but now there is. You've been running your mouth, and I'm not in middle school, so if you have something to say to me, I suggest you say it to me." This is probably one of the last things I said to her. I think this is the last thing I said to her. This is the last message I have. But I said, "Girl, running my mouth out of nowhere is different than being asked what's going on, and if I'm okay after seeing the shit I went through the last 72 hours of whatever it was. You guys can think what you want, I guess, maybe thinking I'm some obsessed weirdo or some shit, but as far as I'm concerned, I apologized where I needed to, and we can just move forward. Like I said, thank you for reaching out on my behalf. You didn't need to do that. I have every right to be mad and just upset in general. I don't know how me having feelings made everybody leave, but whatever." So, in apologize, this is what I meant. So I texted Jackson after he didn't answer while I'm full on having a panic attack for 3 days. I'm not sleeping. I can't eat. I don't know what the fuck is going on. So I texted Jackson and I apologized because I was like, if I overstepped, I'm sorry. That was wrong of me. I didn't know what else to think and we hadn't really had a conversation. He didn't answer because also, but to reference, and he has told me this out of his own mouth, he is terrible at answering text messages and it's notoriously a thing. Some people are. He just doesn't have the mind for it. He'll read it, think what he's going to say, and read it, and think what he's going to reply in his mind, and then he'll just forget because he's always kind of running around doing stuff. That's part of what his job is. He's here, he's there, he's all over the place. So, that is just one of the people. But also publicly, Allie is going online and just smearing my name to anyone who will listen. So she got her couple thousand followers to believe that I was a stalker. So I had said something on my platform because I was like, okay, I'm here quite literally getting harassed. So I was like, I need to say something to keep people from harassing me. So I said, if you have a problem with me, tell me directly. Don't have some third party spin the narrative. It ruins everything. And this is what Allie says on, like I said, on her platform to thousands of people. Imagine being told directly by people that tried being your... Imagine being told directly by people that tried to be your friend and you're still in denial a month later. This was about a month after it happened, by the way. But for a month, I was being dragged through the mud online. You were told directly, acted like you already knew it and it was fine. Then you spun the narrative and tried to make me look bad. No thanks, girly. And one of the people that is... This is also the part that really made me upset too. One of the people that is very close with Jackson was involved in this. It wasn't Will. It was somebody else. And wanted the following that Allie has on his side. So he was involved also. So I also said, this whole thing is making me feel fucking crazy. They bullied me away from a friend and another thing I care about very deeply. I can't even watch a show that I love anymore. Which is fine. I didn't name names. I didn't say anything. So she says, being Allie.
Yeah. I was just gonna.
Yeah, being Allie. Making you feel crazy. Imagine people telling you you're doing too much because they don't want you to embarrass yourself, and then you continue to do it and flip the script and make them seem like mean girls. I tried to be nice and help. You did it to yourself. Then not even 5 minutes after that, she says, she takes what I said and switches it. I will never forgive that girl for making me look bad. I can't even go to watch a show anymore without saying hi to certain friends without wondering if she's going to pop up behind me, following people around and making people uncomfortable. Shame on me for being nice. What she's referencing, by the way, is me going in public and seeing Jackson and Will and some other people that we were all friends with at the time in public before a show that you go to in person. That is the only thing that she is referencing. I have never once stalked this person. I have never once overly obsessed on this person. I have never once been a creep towards this person. I have never once been a predator. I have never once in my life, hand to God, been or done anything that she says.
Let me just throw out there, she's not a predator because this guy is adult. He's an adult.
Yes.
So I just want to make that clear with ages. She can't be a predator because the ages, he's an adult, she's an adult. So there can't be any predatory. And he's older than 18 also. So that's, he's in his 20s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in his 20s. So there's no predatory action. I just want to make that very clear with ages.
Yeah.
In there.
Yeah, and to reference, at the time we were both 24.
Yeah.
So I'm only a couple months older than him, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I get accused of being a stalker online and all of this other stuff, and maybe a month or so after this, I am still torn the fuck up, okay? Because it's something that's hard to explain until you truly go through it. I had never been through something like that ever in my life, and to this day, I don't wish it on my worst enemy. I don't wish it on any of them that caused that harm for me. I just can't. I am too sympathetic. I'm too empathetic. I just can't do it. So about a month after this happened, I took a break from everyone. I stopped watching the show. I couldn't go anywhere in person, be anywhere near it, because it was just too painful of a thing for me. Because it made me question myself as a person. And it made me question, was I a stalker? Was I overly obsessed? Was I doing anything wrong? But I wasn't. And I say I wasn't because I've had a conversation with Jackson about this whole thing since this happened. And this was late last summer. I think probably 2 months after this happened, I was tired of just being upset, and I just needed to take some control back and take something back that means so much to me. So I went again to this restaurant that's near where the show takes place, and I go in and I'm just I'm having a little bit of a panic attack, but I'm also just trying to show my face again because I didn't for a long time. And that's not of anything that's my fault. I was just scared, to be completely honest with you. And also, if you notice, I haven't really been looking at the camera a lot this whole time. It's because this whole thing is still really painful for me to talk about, and I can't look at myself for very long or else I'll start crying. But anyway, that's just heads up FYI, that's why that's happening. But I go and I show my face and I run into Will. And like I said, Will is a very good friend of Jackson's. They see each other all the time. They work together. They talk every single day. So if anyone knows what's going on and knows how he's feeling and knows what's happening, it's Will. So I go up and I see him, and I originally was just going to leave him be. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go up and say hi. So I was kind of nervous to see how that was going to go. So I got myself, I got a soda, and I just was like, you know what? It's now or never. I'm never going to know if I don't ask. So I go over to Will and I say hi, how are you? What's going on? What's up? What's been happening? And he immediately asks, where have you been? What's going on? What's wrong? And I kind of explain it to him but I left out some detail because I didn't want to ruin something that he has going for him, and there's just some other logistical information in there that I can't bring up, I can't talk about. So anyway, we have a quick conversation. I'm like, I'm doing okay, I'm a little better than I was, all things considered, but I think I'm gonna be fine. And he's like, that's great, I'm so glad you're here. And I say, that's really great, how's Jackson doing? I haven't talked to him in a while. And immediately he goes, what do you mean? I thought you guys were... What? You're not talking anymore? And I was like, no, we haven't talked in months. So he didn't know anything about the situation, which was a huge green flag for me. So I kind of left with some weight off of my shoulders. And then about a couple weeks later, I run into Jackson for the first time since this whole thing happened. And he's doing interviews for... let's just say it's like the street interviews. If you guys know who Chris Clemens is, he's a really, really funny YouTuber. He does street interviews, or Billy on the Street, I think is his name. But they interview people about random stuff. So this is what Jackson is doing at the time, but he's making it pertain to the show that we're in, or the show that we're watching. So immediately I get scared when I see him, because I get scared that maybe, worst case scenario, somebody's going to call the cops or something. I don't know what's going to happen. Because again, I haven't talked to him in months at this point. And immediately, the first thing he does is runs up to me and hands me a microphone. And when I tell you guys, the amount of weight that lifted off my shoulders was insane. It just felt like I was okay for the first time in months. I felt like I was a human. I felt like a person. I felt important. And it was just a little thing. He didn't even know that he did it. So he was like, do you want to answer some questions? And I just was laughing and being his normal, super unserious self. That's one thing I left out. He's very unserious. He's just a goofy dude. He's super funny and just if you know, like, the class clown type, he's kind of just like that. He's just goofy, doesn't really take life too serious, just, he's that kind of a person. So I know that this entire time that all this is going on. And I just smiled and I was like, yeah, of course, I'll answer some questions, sure. But first, can we talk for a second? And he, like, kind of looked at me concerned. He was like, oh, yeah, what's going on? So I pull him over to the side and I was like, is everything okay? Like, are we good? Did I do any, like, are you okay? Is this fine? Like, what's going on? And he was like, oh, yeah, we're totally fine. Everything's great. What do you mean? And I was like, what? Like, I was genuinely shocked. So I was like, wait a minute, you don't know what's going on? And he was like, I'm just as confused as you are. I don't know what the hell is happening. And I was like, what do you mean? So we had a conversation, and long story short, it wasn't a long conversation because it didn't have to be, but moral of the story is, I was completely fine. Everything I was doing was okay. He was completely fine. He had no issues with anything I was doing, my presence, nothing. He didn't care that I would see him at this place that pretty much our entire city goes to before these shows. It's just a thing. It's always been a thing. I'm not going to say where we live because I'm just not going to. Also, it's not, if you see the jersey on me, it's not Philadelphia. We don't live in Philadelphia. So, just FYI. But, so if you're thinking it's anywhere in Philly, it's not. But yeah, we had a little conversation and it turned out that me and Jackson were completely fine the entire time. We had no issues, nothing. So what happened was, from my perspective, to make the long story short, all of this cyberbullying and making me a stalker and making me out to be this person to thousands of people that I never have been and I never will be, all of this happened because I caught feelings for someone and Lacey got jealous and all of them turned on me to try to get Jackson to turn on me as well and come to their side. So a little update for now. As of right now, it's May of 2025. Like I said in the beginning, it's been about a year since all of this went down. Jackson now is happily dating a girl named, we'll call her Lily. Dating a girl named Lily. I've met her. She's super sweet. I'm still single. Don't really care about that right now, though. There's some other things going on there. But yeah, me and Jackson are cool. We don't talk all that often. I don't really see him all that often anymore. We run into each other here and there, but when we see each other, we always talk and are totally fine, super friendly, everything's great. So this is also just a lesson to not believe everything you see online. Not everyone you see online that's made out to be a bad person is one. And if you need to have a conversation with someone, just have the conversation, because I think now we haven't had a conversation about this, but I think looking back now, if Jackson and I had the hindsight of what happened to me, I think we would have had that conversation ourselves, and I still think he wanted to. I think if they didn't get involved, things would look very different right now. I think we would be in a much better place. Not that we're in a bad place now, we're just not as close anymore. But yeah, we're kind of living different lives now, but he's fine, I'm fine, me and Will are still cool, all of it is great. So, their attempt to take me down and burn me to the ground and bury me and everything possible hasn't happened. I actually grew a following since that happened. So yeah, just don't believe everything you read online. Fact check with other people, and if somehow anybody that's involved that defended me online on this platform on behalf of me, on behalf of Jackson, thank you. I don't think any of you will see this, but if you do, thank you. You guys know who you are. Shouts the fuck out to all of you guys. I love you guys so much. But yeah, that's about it. Just be very careful who you become friends with online as well. So yeah, that's my story.
we had two different points of view. She had girls coming after her, and I have men still coming after me. Her situation is luckily ended. Mine is probably till the day I actually die on this earth. But I will say,
Oops.
or they die. But I will say,
hopefully comes first.
that I will say it was good to get the different perspective of the different genders, because different genders bully very differently.
Mm-hmm.
Girls are more catty and internet and
manipulative.
tweeting thumbs and all that stuff, where guys are more like blunt, straight to the point, gonna say that I'm a S worker and things like that, which if you are, power to you. That is a hard industry to work in. And I commend all of you for being brave enough and strong enough to work in that industry. It's just like me being branded as one wasn't good for me because I've never worked in that industry. I just haven't. And like also people like, you know, making these deep fakes of my voice and phone calls, making me sound like I'm saying things about somebody that I've never even met in person. Like, I don't know this person, so why would I be saying these heinous things about them if I don't know them? Like, it's just, this stuff could have cost me a job. Thank fucking God it didn't. But, like, that's the thing that you gotta know is when someone is cyberbullying you, it can cost you a job if it is big enough and everywhere. And so for her story, it was more of, like, be careful who you become friends with on the internet. Like, you know, everybody's not the nicest people out there. And
they're not who they portray to be online.
Yeah. And mine is more, this stuff can cost you a job if it goes far enough.
Right.
And luckily I have not, well, I guess I shouldn't say fully, I haven't. I haven't had to get the police involved up until this point, but if they keep using my likeness, I'm going to go to the police. And then you guys will hear about that, because fucking, I don't know who this guy is. I've seen his face, but I don't know his name, I don't know where he lives, it's all anonymous. So, that's the scary thing about the internet and cyberbullying. It's all anonymous. You don't know who anybody is. So yeah, just really be careful when you're on the internet interacting with anybody. Because I've gotten some weird ass emails being a YouTuber. And there's one that makes me laugh because it's not bad, but it's odd. But yeah, so I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you for listening to us talk about this important thing that sadly still happens. And yeah, it needs to be ended, but that's on you future generations watching out there to end this. Where I work, I still see bullying happening where I work. And these are young kids. It's ridiculous. And they're saying like curse words as young kids, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Also, my closing thought, I want to close this with a Doechii lyric from her song Bullfrog. Twitter fingers get your whole life logged out, bitch. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye, guys. Thank you for listening. Also, to say it again, be careful with who you meet online. But yeah, that's it. Twitter fingers get your whole life logged out.